I'm going to show you how you can make an original Bircher Muesli. That's how we say it in German, Bircher Muesli, I guess, in English. However, it is the original overnight oats, not from Germany, but from Switzerland. And I'm going to show you how you make the original recipe, the authentic recipe, and then I'm going to give you a bunch of ideas for variations so that you can make it just the way you want it. For ingredients, you need some rolled oats, and if you have watched my last week's video, I showed you a grain flaker that you can purchase and flake your own oats because they will be nutritionally so much more superior to anything you can buy in the store. And especially if you're making this, if you're going to be cooking your oats like for a porridge or like a regular hot oatmeal, it may not matter so much. However, if you're going to be eating this raw, like in this recipe, then you might want to look into this, and the link is right here. We need an apple, we need some lemon, we need hazelnuts, and some milk. I always use our raw milk. I'm going to be talking about substitutes, and that's why I'm going to put it back in the refrigerator so it doesn't sit outside. In preparation for this video, I actually soaked the rolled oats last night, and I simply added some milk to about 1/3 cup of rolled oats. And you know, you can start with the measurements for this recipe and then you can adjust them to your liking. So here's what I did last night. That's already soaked and it is pretty stiff, as you can see. It is softened, but it may not look a lot, but it's going to come out to quite a substantial breakfast. If you like, you can always add some more water or some more milk, and I actually like it this way. And the original recipe has lemon in it. Now I'm going to just tell you right away that the lemon's going to make it probably a lot more sour for the American taste buds than what you may be used to. And the reason is, and this is why I'm going into this, is because the very original recipe used sweetened condensed milk. And why did they use that when they developed this recipe, in the 1800s? Because it was really difficult to keep raw milk from spoiling. So the only way to preserve milk was to condense it and to have it in cans, and it typically used to be sweetened. So I think that's where the lemon juice comes in. So I'm going to just add a little bit here, and I'm going to try to not get the seeds in there as well, and sprinkle just a little bit in here. So if you use sweetened condensed milk, you might go up to about 1 tablespoon of lemon juice. Next, we'll use an apple, and you can always chop your apple in half. The original recipe actually used the peel of the apple and this. I'm not sure about the seeds, but just like everything here. And I absolutely love grating my apple with a grater. However, you can also simply just chop it into pieces. And the way I like to do it, so I don't get the seeds in there because they are mildly toxic, is cut out this part and this part. And I like to just chop the apple on the coarse side here. Now all we need to do is chop the hazelnuts. I need a bigger knife. Obviously as coarse or finely as you like. I'll try to get those in there. if you're feeling like there's more apple in there than rolled oats, you're right. It's pretty much more of an apple cereal than really something with the oats. But here it is, really simple. Now, in Germany, where I'm originally from, this is how we eat it, and we typically, for breakfast, don't heat our cereals up so it's served cold. You can always, if you have a microwave, you can always pop the oats, the soaked oats, into the microwave or heat them up over a stove. But I'll talk about some substitutions here. So let's talk about the milk. You can use any milk you like. You can use raw milk, you can use regular pasteurized milk. A lot of people will say use cream because that's a little bit closer to the consistency and the fat content of condensed milk. You can also use any plant-based milk. There's a lot of people who say, oh, don't use yogurt. I don't see why you couldn't use yogurt. You can use yogurt, you can use buttermilk, you can use kefir, and you can obviously mix all of those. You don't need apple, you can use kiwi, you can use berries, you can use a combination of things. And because this isn't very sweet, if you like to add some honey or some maple syrup or some agave syrup, that would be a good choice. You can also add sugar if you like. However, I think you're here because you're looking for a healthy breakfast. You can also add some raisins or dates, even though, like I said, that's not the very original, authentic way to do it. If you can't find the hazelnuts, you can use pumpkin seeds, you can use sunflower seeds, you can use walnuts, you can use almonds, you can omit them all together if you don't do well with nuts. And let's see what else. What else can you do with this? You can do a whole bunch of things and just make it the way you like it. Make it the way you want it. You can find the full recipe in the description box below this video. And I hope you get a chance to check out how to flake your own grains. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.